This is a tutorial on how to set up the KLeio radio station. Once you have unpacked the boxes, and what you see in front is the broadcast module of the radio station, the broadcast unit, and this is the back of the unit, showing the patch panel, the power distribution board, and some cables underneath. And here we have the Behringer QX1204 audio mixer. So what we are going to do now is to show how to connect the cables that come from the broadcast unit. Basically, first of all, the cables are tucked inside the back of the unit. We very carefully unfold the loom, and that's the loom, and take away the protective cover. And these are the connectors that go into the audio mix. Now we arrange the connectors at the back of the mixer, something like this, and we will start connecting from the right hand side to the left. The user manual has a page which tells you which of these connectors should go to which of the sockets in the mixer. For example, now this cable has a cable number which is 20. 20 has to go to the phone's position. The user manual has this page which shows where the connectors or the cable should be connected. For example, cable number 10 should go to auxiliary return left, cable number 11 to auxiliary return right, 12 and 13 to line 5 left and line 5 right, and so on. So we will connect them as shown in the manual. This is 19. 19 should go to line 8, which is this. This is 18. 18 goes there. This cable with a green top is for the telephone hybrid, and that should go to here, which is called send 1. And likewise, this other cable, which is with the red, should go to line 4. This is 11 and 12, 13, so they should actually come here. And 10, so they actually are on this side of the console. Number 10 is auxiliary return left and right. Number 10 and 11. 10 and 11, these are 10 and 11, and that's 10. 10 should go there, and 11 there. 12 and 13, 12 and 13 to line 5 and line 5 left and right. So 13 is there, is line 5 and 6, and 12 goes there. So only 4 connectors that are left here are these two, that is for the main out, which is at the back of the console. That is cable number 16 and 17 that is connected. 16 and 17, and these two, 14 and 15, are for CR out, or the monitor out of the console. So that's 14 and 15. This is the back of the console. That's the power. This is power switch for the console, and that's the power switch for the phantom power for the microphones, like condenser microphones. These two are the main out. That's the mix output. This is alt 3 and 4, and this is the control room left and right. That is actually the one that goes to the monitors, the speaker monitors. So that completes the connecting of the audio mixer. This one is for the laptop or the notebook, which I will show you in a minute. Mixer, I think this is its cable. Connect the power cord to the cable, to the mixer there, and you can connect. So that means this has power. This is should be connected to your power source. Most likely that in your country you may not have this type of connector. So what you should do is to cut this and connect a suitable power connector which is used in your country. To look at and identify what's here, this is the telephone hybrid. It has a switch here which has been set to suit the telephone that I've provided with it, and on this side there's a little volume control with which you can control the volume of the incoming signal from your telephone, from a caller to this mixer. I will show how to answer a call from a listener and reply and so on, and how it can be broadcast. The other thing I want to show you is that with the mixer, this USB cable will be provided, and you can connect this connector to the mixer, to a port at the back, and the other end to your computer. By doing that, you will be able to record the output of this in the notebook, as well as play back whatever you have produced. I will show you how the audio editing software works, and once you have edited some audio program, you can play from the notebook through the mixer to broadcast. The other thing that I want to show you are the speakers. There are two speakers. It's connected to the two speakers are connected together with this with these two cables. And one thing that you should be careful is that the red one should go to red and the black to black, and likewise here red to red, black to black. So what happens is that the audio signal from this patch panel, which is actually the output of the mixer, comes to the left and right here, and the left or the right is transferred to the other speaker. The main amplifier is here. Now these are the two cables for the speakers. As you can see, one end is a XLR female, the other end is RCA. And on the patch panel you have these two connectors, which is marked speaker left and right. And how to connect is to connect the XLR female to the left and connect the other end of it, the RCA, the left of the left input of the speakers, and likewise the other female XLR there. And so the two speakers are connected, and this is its power cable, which you can connect there to feed power. I spoke to you about another USB cable which comes with this cable loom. You can connect that to the other USB port on the computer. And what it does is, how to use it is that on the front of this USB cable comes along the cable loom and comes to a port on the front of the console of this rack. So the advantage is that you can connect a USB stick which has some audio or whatever, some audio program. You can connect it there, and you can then download it to your computer through that port. So that's a pretty useful feature because you don't have to go to the computer. You can you can connect even a portable audio recorder output to that USB port there. This is the front of the rack, and you can see here we have a USB port that I was talking to you about, and you can connect any USB stick with audio and download it to the computer. These for the headphones, and this telephone is for the telephone hybrid, along with that little box that I showed you from on the back of that telephone hybrid. I also have supplied this telephone, and what you do is you take the cable from the handset, leave it on that, and connect that end of the cable to this telephone RJ45 port. How to operate it I will show you later. This is the limiter compressor. Actually I have preset the controls, and my user manual explains what those controls are and where it has been set. There is a CD player, and perhaps we can play some music and see what happens. I will switch on power from the distribution board. Now the power, I need Now we have power to the CD player and compressor. That's the tray. I need to find the CD. And we have a CD. We can't wait. And we wait till it has read the CD and indicates it's ready. It's ready now. Press play. I have forgotten to switch on power. There's a power switch here. There are two switches actually. One for power to the console. The other one is phantom power. If you are using a condenser microphone, then you have to have the phantom power on, and you see there's a red light here which shows that the phantom power is on. This is the red light for phantom power. You can see it. You switch it off and you see it's dimming quite slowly. Anyway, the CD is playing, and that comes to channel 7 and 8. We have only one channel. Yes, because we are not connected to the channel. That's wrong. I should have gone here. So channel 7 and 8 is where the CD input comes through, and this is your final fader or the main fader, and these are faders for each of these channels. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 microphone channels. They can also be line channels, but it can't be line and a mic at the same time. It has to be mic or line. And then we have two stereo channels, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Channel 5 and 6 is terminated in the patch panel at the back, so that when we have the production console operating, we can get a program out of the production console connected to line 5 and 6 here, and then we have it available on this mixer for broadcast. So it's actually, you can do a live broadcast from the production console using the 5 and 6 lines, 5 and 6 as input from the production console. Okay, let's see how we can connect a microphone and adjust the level of the microphones. These are microphone cable, and I'm going to plug it into the mic 1 channel, and the other end to the microphone. Now this is channel 1, mic channel 1, all the controls. This is a gain control with which you can increase or decrease the level of the microphone input. And what we do is we adjust Okay. We connect the microphone to the cable, and this is the microphone input level control. It's called the gain control, and what we're doing is we're going to set the microphone fader control to 0, the main fader to 0, and we are going to increase the gain control until we have some reasonable level of the mic level on the main fader. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that's roughly about right. And we can now also increase the depth of the microphone output by increasing the compression levels. That's too much. Yeah, we increase the compression level until this red light blinks. That means it's clipping at that time, and you will see that the punch or the audio level sort of has a good punch. Especially it's good for commercials and even announcements. So basically we set it for 0. We set that for 0, and first adjust the gain control and then the compression control until there is there's a slight the blinking of the red light there. So that's how you increase or set the levels of a microphone. The other control that I want to show you is this one, the nano patch fader and the mute switch. When we have a microphone live and we don't want the speakers to be on, otherwise it will start feedback like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So either we can reduce the level into the speakers with this fader control, or we can completely mute it. I'll show you by playing a CD. I can increase the speaker volume with this control, or I can simply mute it. And this is advisable when you have a live microphone in the room, to mute the speakers so that there won't be any feedback. But of course the headphones will be live, and you can monitor the output of the mixer with using the speaker headphones. And this volume control is independent of the headphones. Setting up of the telephone hybrid. This is a cable from the wall outlet of the home telephone, and that goes to the telephone line in of the handset. We remove the cable from the handset, keep it on the tray, in the tray, and plug the other end to the telephone line port of the rack. Now there is telephone line is now connected to this one, and as you can see, the red light comes on there. It flickers to indicate that the telephone is connected to the telephone system. Now, to switch this or program this to the so-called handset mode, what we do is take the handset off, press store, volume up, volume down, mute, and start, and keep it back. Now what happens is that when a call comes through, this LED light here will flicker, indicating that the call is coming through, and how you answer the call is to press the speaker button. And the call is now connected. You can talk to your caller, and you can use your microphone to talk to him. I'll show you how the controls on the mixer is set up, but you can use this microphone to talk to the caller, and his voice will be channeled to the mixer and will be mixed with the rest of the program and can be broadcast. Now in this case, the microphone we are using is channel 1, and the microphone output, we are going to use the auxiliary 1 channel to send the microphone output to the caller. So this is our control. We can increase or decrease the microphone volume that goes into auxiliary 1, and from this channel, this is auxiliary 1 channel, all the others must be kept closed, and then it goes to the auxiliary send 1 control, and with that you can control the final output of the microphone, and it goes through this green cable to the hybrid at the back and to the caller. So basically what you talk to him about will be channeled through the auxiliary control, goes through here to the auxiliary send control. So we have 2 controls to adjust the volume of your speech that gets into the caller. The caller's voice will come through this red jack. So it is on this channel, and this is the control. This and that will adjust the incoming volume of the caller. So basically once it is set up, then as you can see, this speech, yours and the caller's, will be mixed through these faders and can be broadcast. So it's how you make a live broadcast of a telephone conversation. Connecting the headphones. This is the headphone jack, and then the headphones are live. To remove, you have to press the red button and pull the jack out. This is the limiter compressor that actually controls the audio levels to the transmitter, and that prevents the transmitter from overloading if there are allowed high levels of audio goes through the transmitter without having a control like this. As you can see, I have set it to standard levels, but you can adjust if you want. But one of the important things is that is to have this one as 0 dB, this for one channel and that's for that other channel, so that the audio level that goes to the transmitter is within about 0 dB. The others are basically controlling when the level goes down below a certain amount. Normally the hiss or hissing sound can come up, and that controls the sort of cutoff of those levels below a certain specified level, and I put it at -60 and so on. So basically it's a very useful device to protect the transmitter and the quality of the sound that is fed to the transmitter. This I think I spoke previously. You can have a USB stick or a portable audio recorder connected to this one, and download whatever is recorded in those two devices. Coming back to the microphone channel, we can also, for example, check the level of this channel only by pressing the solo button here, and that means it bypasses everything else and comes direct to the main fader, and I can check, as you can see, the level coming through to the main fader. 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 is now disconnected from that. But I can again put this channel back into the main stream by pressing the main mix button here. So that means all this will be fed into the main mix and out. But I can bypass just the channel, for example, by pressing the solo button, and it's one way of checking the individual levels of individual channels. There's a button called mute or Alt 3 to 4. What happens is that if you press that button, this channel is taken out of the main mix and is fed to the Alt mix 3/4, and we can check the levels by pressing the Alt 3/4 and 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. It is useful, for example, if you want to there is a Alt 3/4 output here. If you want to feed that to a separate pair of speakers and you want to have some selected number of channels to be fed to the speakers, you can do using the Alt function of the mixer. It's probably useful if you want to give a certain feed to some artists so that they have a tracking music for them to sing or something like that. So basically to disconnect and channel a selected number of channels to all 3/4, which can be fed to separate set of speakers or monitors or even headphones. The next is the effects function of the mixer. There are some effects controls here. The effects can be introduced to any of the channels using the effects auxiliary controls. For example, now we are using channel number 1, and if I set it, for example, to mid position there, and that comes to here, we set it to mid position, and we set this one to mid position, and we can select the kind of effects we want. For example, now this is a room 3, a certain size of a room, and room 2, another smaller size, room 1, a smaller size, a theater, concert 1, concert 2, and so on. That all of these actually give certain amount of reverberation time. So let's check. I'm using select room 1 by I can change this and select it by pressing for example 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5, and if I go to room 2, 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5, you probably hear a certain amount of increased reverberation. And you go to room 3, 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. So that means it's even increase. It's more reverberation than room 2, which means that room 3 is a larger room. We go back to room 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's less reverberation. So these functions actually give you certain amount of facility to change the sound of the audio that passes through the audio mixer. The Behringer handbook gives all the details of what the settings are, what kind of effects are available, and so on. Switching the computer on, it should be remembered that the computer should be switched on after the mixer is switched on, and we have already connected the mixer to the notebook or computer, and it should always switched on after the audio mixer is switched on. The reason is that when that happens, when the computer boots up, it detects the mixer, and then it readjusts and identifies the input, audio input and output to the computer as the USB port, and so that the audio is connected between the two devices. I have already installed Audacity, which is the audio editing software. And to record something from the audio mixer, let's again see whether we can record the output of the mixer, which is playing a CD from the CD player there. We push. This is a record button. This is a record button. Now see that there's nothing coming through. The reason is that this red button here is in the wrong position. It's pressed. It should be in the up position, and then the audio from mixer gets to the computer through the USB port, and it's recording now. Now let's stop that and let's see whether we can play back, say somewhere from there. We press the play button, and as you see, nothing gets through. That is because now we have to press this button back to the lower level. Press the button, and now that output of the computer is now passed through to the mixer. Let's start again. And we want to record. You can control the level into the computer also through this fader. So there is certain amount of control available there, and if you want more accurate control, you double click, and then you have a more precise control of the levels of the audio input to the computer. Again, the levels must not be more than 0 dB as it is here. Otherwise, you see that somewhere around here it sort of clips. That means the audio will get distorted. So be careful that the audio levels do not go beyond 0 on a regular basis. It can sort of peak occasionally, but not on a regular basis. But we should create clipping of the audio signal. There are some tutorials that have been prepared by various other people, and I have copied them to the CD that I have provided, giving tutorials, tutorial instructions of how to use Audacity. And also the user manual gives instructions as to how to set up Audacity if it is freshly installed. The other one that I want to show you is Zara Radio. It's actually a very powerful layout software. And again, there are two tutorials in the CD under the Zara Radio folder, which I prepared, showing you how to use Zara Radio and what its controls are and its features. And just to show roughly, quickly, I will insert this USB port to the USB stick to the port there, and I will add a couple of tracks from the from that USB stick. I have a music folder here. Let's take a couple of and I press open, and let me get rid of that, and if I click play, so basically the Zara Radio is playing these two clips through the computer, and which can be broadcast. The software allows you to even program various events like time announcements and temperature announcements, even to play certain folders, or even to play certain number of tracks at a given time, and so on. So programmability is very good and very simple. This is the control panel of the computer, and I want to just show you quickly what happens in this under sound, manage audio devices. You will see that the speakers and headphones, it says USB audio codec. That means that it has recognized the mixer as the codec, and it is the default device. Likewise, for recording is also it's not the microphone, it's the USB audio codec. So that happens only after you have switched the mixer on and have the mixer connected to the notebook, and you power the notebook after.